Welcome back to American Arms Channel, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Drake, and today we're taking a look at how to disassemble and reassemble the Stoeger M3000 series, whether it's the 3500, the 3000, both in 12 gauge, or the model 3020, which is simply a scaled down version of the 3000 in 20 gauge. This one specifically is the 20 gauge model, so it will fall underneath that. Really, if you've seen a Benelli Super 90 pattern shotgun trigger assembly disassembled and reassembled, this is going to be awfully familiar. Now, what I like to start with, of course, is always make sure you've got yourself a nice punch and you've got yourself a nice pair of needle nose pliers. And here is that oh so familiar D-clip spring. We can see that on the one side, we can see that the clip has come through it. There's a daylight in it, and on the other side it is simply wrapped around. We're going to take our pliers here and we're going to grab that, put our thumb against it, and we're going to want to kind of pop that on out. Sometimes you just rotate it and it will eventually unhook itself. We can drop it right down there on the table. Don't lose that guy. Fairly important. Gun will work without it, but it will be a pain in the butt to keep everything together when you're pulling it out of the gun. Next thing to do, decock your hammer. Push it forward. Next thing to do, let's grab our capture arm and our spring. Let's pull backwards and out to the side. Very, very familiar. Now we've lost tension on everything. That is a good thing. Let's take our handy dandy punch here and lift up on this spring, which goes over the top of this dog leg. Don't worry, you're not going to lose tension or fight it. It is retained by a pin. Simply give it a flick or lift it out and set it down gently. Now the next thing we're going to want to do is to capture our hammer plunger and hammer spring. It's being held down by this dog leg. So before we push our center axis pin through, we're going to want to put our thumb over the top of that. We can pull that out slightly and ease that up. Otherwise it will go rocketing across the room. Those two components can be set aside. If you've seen the Super Black Eagle 3 disassembly, you absolutely are seeing similarities here and can probably figure it out from here, but we'll keep going. Now we can pull the center axis pin straight out with the cartridge release lever and bolt stop tab. Everything's going to kind of flop apart. Here comes our lifter assembly. Here comes our hammer, and the rest of it can just sit together. There's no real reason, unless you're replacing components, to remove any of this. It can all be wiped out with a rag or blown out with compressed air. In fact, I have taken the M2000 trigger assembly after getting sand and grit and nastiness in it. I have disassembled it to this point because it is nearly identical, and I have rinsed it out in soapy water and then used a blow dryer to get it dried out down in its cracks and crevices and reapplied oil to prevent corrosion. Remember, you do have this washer here that could fall out. This one's got good tension. It's not going to. Just be mindful if yours is loose to remove it and keep track of it. Now you're at a point that you can begin your cleaning or maintenance. Here we've got a little bit better retention of our articulating arm with this post, but if we pushed on it hard enough, it would come out, although this is peened over just slightly so that it stays in place. So now you're disassembled. Reassembly is a standard affair. Let's take a look. All right, to begin reassembly, let's take our trigger housing and our lifter and lifter arm assembly and simply wiggle it back into place and line it up with the holes. Then I'm going to take my cartridge release and bolt lock lever, and I'm going to put that into position. I'm going to insert the center axis pin, simply wiggling it to get it together. Now I'm going to simply drop my hammer into place, a little bit of a tight fit, but I will find it at some point, and I'm not going to push it all the way through. Now I'm going to take this dog leg and I'm going to actually put this spring back onto this lever. Provide a little bit of tension. Push it up and it will go into place. If I wiggle this out, however, I get it out of the way of the hammer spring and hammer spring plunger channel. I can wiggle those down in, push them, make sure they catch, and then push the cross bolt the rest of the way to ensure that it does not escape. Flip my arm, my lifter arm up, ensuring that everything is in alignment. Before I do so, I'm going to push my lifter arm up, and I'm going to take my spring tension and spring guide. I'm going to put it in the washer. I'm going to compress it, push it down, and get it to go into its recess in the articulating arm, and we will make sure that's functioning. All right, so we make sure that's all the way in, and now we want to find where our D-clip has got its notch. On this one, there's just the one side where it daylights. Right now it is right here. So I am going to pick up my D-clip and I am going to place the flat side where it is daylighting and where it has that notch. It will hook in, and now using my pliers or my punch, I can simply ride this over the top and it has escaped my hand. So this can be either a really easy or really complicated task. Just depends upon how quickly you can get it lined up. Sometimes you don't need a punch or a pair of pliers, but you know, dang it, they really do come in handy. And voila, we're in position. Give that a squeeze, make sure it's not going anywhere. Now we can recock our hammer, put our safety on, and we are ready to reassemble it into the receiver. Don't forget your cross pin, it won't stay in without that. As always, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. Please comment, subscribe, click like if you enjoyed the video, and as always, make sure you hit that notification bell if you aren't already having notifications sent to you when I upload. It's just stupid YouTube analytics. If you don't hit it, you probably won't see my uploads, even if you're a subscriber. So please hit that notification bell. It helps me see how many subscribers are actually watching the content and how useful it is to you, the viewer. So once again, guys, I'm Drake for American Arms Channel. God bless. Keep your powder dry. I'll see you in the next video.